Okay, now we're going to find consumer surplus. And we're going to start out very similar to the way we did producer surplus. We're going to take the function, and this time it is the demand function, and we're going to evaluate it at the equilibrium. Okay, that's equilibrium 4. They give us that. So that's 4,000 divided by 2 times 4, which is 8 plus 1 cubed. So that's 4,000 over 9 to the third. And we're just going to get a decimal for this to 2 places. So 4,000 divided by 9 to the third is 5.49. Now, instead of subtracting the demand function from this value like we did with consumer surplus, we're going to subtract this from the demand function. So we're going to go integral 0 to 4, that's 0 to the equilibrium point, original demand function 4,000, 2q plus 1 to the third, dq, I'll go ahead and separate it, and we're going to subtract from that the integral from 0 to 4 of 5.49 dq, because this is what we got when we substituted the equilibrium into the demand function. All right, now this one's going to be easy. It's just going to be minus 5.49 q, right? Because that's a constant and the variable is q. And then this one, I'm going to have to do u substitution. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to let 2q plus 1 be my u. Okay? Now, anytime you have a function within a function, look, this is 2q plus 1. That's a function and that's a function. So we're telling you to double and add 1, but we're also telling you you have to cube. So that's 2 major operations. So that's when you're going to have to use your u substitution. So derivative of u with respect to q is going to be 2, because that's just 2 and that's 0. I'm going to put my dq over here. 2 dq is du. So I divide by 2 to get the value that can be substituted in for dq, and it's going to be du over 2. Okay, so this is going to go in for our dq in the first one, right? So that's just du over 2. So for this one, I have to put in my u, so that's 4,000 over u cubed, and for dq we got du over 2. Now this 2 can go into this 4,000 and leave us with a 2,000, and then we can put it on the outside. And remember, we're in q now, so we don't need these values are not correct. So I'm going to take these off because I don't need this. Those are the values of q, and we don't have q anymore. Now over here, we are going to evaluate this one at 0 and 4, and eventually, once we get this one done, we're going to evaluate it at 0 and 4. So look what I have. I have 2,000 over u cubed. I'm going to write that 2,000 on the outside, integral u to the negative 3 du. So that's going to be 2,000 u to the negative 3 plus 1 over negative 3 plus 1. So that's 2,000 u to the negative 2 over negative 2. So that's going to give me negative 1,000 u to the negative 2. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put my u in, which was 2q plus 1. So my final integral is negative 1,000 2q plus 1 to the negative 2, which I can write negative 1,000 over 2q plus 1 squared. Now don't forget, from that is minus 5.49q, and this is at 4 and 0. Okay, now we've got to be careful. When you put in a 0 here, that doesn't come out to 0. That comes out to 1. So you got to be careful. Okay? So let's put in a 4. Negative 1,000. 8 plus 1 squared minus 5.49 times 4 minus, now this one's going to be 0, but this one's not. It's going to be negative 1,000 over 2q would be 0 plus 1, 1 squared. So that's negative 1,000 over 9 squared minus, the calculator out, 5.49 times 4, 21.96, and then this makes a plus, so be careful, that's plus 1,000. So negative 1,000 divided by 9 to the second is negative 12.35 if you round, minus 21.96 plus 1,000, and we'll do negative 12.35 minus 21.96 plus 1,000, and that's 965.69. Now, if you're off by a penny or two, it's not a big deal, okay? I'll look at your work and I'll give you full credit. Even in a case where my math lab might count it wrong, just because there's a little bit of a rounding error, it's not going to be a big deal. So that is our consumer's surplus.